Hey guys, Sandro here from Carcraft Auto Detailing in Melbourne. Today's video is a comparison and test between your traditional car wax, paint sealant and nano coating to see how resistant each of these three paint protection products are to a few various products and techniques that can be used to clean and strip the surface of automotive paint, which should relate to their durability and protection. Plus, for those of you who are interested in knowing how to go about removing a wax, sealant, or even a coating from your car paint, I'll be demonstrating a few methods that can be used to strip your paint bare from even the most durable and resistant paint protection products around. Now, not all car waxes, sealants and coatings are exactly the same in relation to their durability and resistance to certain cleaning and stripping products, but there is certainly quite a lot of similarities and performance characteristics found in most waxes as in most sealants and coatings. And for the purpose of this video, I tried to select a traditional natural car wax that isn't a hybrid wax, meaning it's really more of a sealant, and the sealant I chose was again a more traditionally applied polymer based one, and the coating too was a more standard silica based one. So in other words, the P21S Concours wax, the Wolfgang Deep Gloss Sealant, and the CarPro Seaquartz UK coating are three products that represent what a traditional wax, sealant and coating generally are, which was my reason for selecting them for this video. Plus, they are popular and great products that are widely used. I'm also going to try and display in this video whether or not certain products will strip your paint protection over time, but even more so, this video will be about what will strip that protection instantly, starting with the least aggressive manner and working up, to show how you'd go about removing existing paint protection that you want to get rid of, and what products you should avoid if you want to maintain your wax, sealant or coating for longer. The panel in this video was completely decontaminated and prepared a week ago with the three paint protection products correctly applied and left to fully cure indoors before this test. So in other words, the wax, sealant and coating were all at their highest performance and resistant levels prior to this resistance test, which means that if I was dealing with a paint protection product that was applied weeks, months or years ago and had been outside in the elements for some time, or perhaps not even applied correctly, chances are that I would be able to remove it far easier. So this is more of a worst case scenario for removing a wax, sealant or coating, and a test of how resistant they are at their strongest levels. Now, there are various products and methods that will undoubtedly remove any protection from the paint, but they are also quite aggressive in that they will also remove a portion of the paint's clear coat as well, and in most circumstances are really not necessary. Plus, I want to show a variety of products and techniques that can be used to address certain situations where you may not want to have to polish or correct the paint afterwards if it's already in great condition. Another point to make as well is how to identify whether you have actually successfully removed the wax, sealant or coating. In most cases, it can be difficult to just visually identify whether you have removed the paint protection by simply looking at the panel. But with the aid of a few other methods, you should be able to confirm if the paint is truly bare. So apart from a difference in the appearance of the paint, where it should look perhaps a little less glossy and lose some depth to its finish, clean bare paint shouldn't feel overly smooth, but more so a little grippy and tacky, and your hand shouldn't glide over it freely without resistance like protected paint. But perhaps the easiest way to identify, and for me to display this on video, is by the water behaviour when it makes contact with the paint. Overall, protected paint creates a hydrophobic reaction when water comes in contact with it. So water will generally run off the paint quite quickly as the surface tension is increased and tightened, which doesn't allow the liquid to bond or cling to it as easily. And you'll also notice that the contact angle of the remaining water beads should be noticeably decreased, making them appear like beautiful round spheres rather than flat blotches of standing water. I'm going to remove the masking tape in between the wax, sealant and coating, which should display the water behaviour of the bare paint under that tape as a guide to how the rest of the paint should react with water once it's truly bare and free of the particular paint protection product. And I'm also going to leave a top portion of this protected panel untouched as a reference to display the difference in water behaviour between the protected and unprotected paint, and the manner in which I'm going to apply these cleaners will also be more in line with a thorough paint decontamination clean rather than a more gentle maintenance clean. So starting with the least aggressive manner first, I'm going to use a decontamination car wash detergent, Snow Plus, at a 1:9 dilution, which is a similar strength to how you'd apply it in a foam lance. Basically, this product is similar to CarPro Reset, used for a decontamination wash prior to adding or topping up a wax or sealant, but perhaps a touch stronger than Reset, but by no means an aggressive cleaner. As you can hopefully see, it really didn't affect the water behaviour of the coating at all, as it's still beading up as previously. The sealant does, however, seem to have been just slightly affected, losing perhaps just a touch of its water behaviour, whereas I can see that with just one wash with Snow Plus, the wax has already lost much of its hydrophobic characteristics. Now, it hasn't been entirely stripped, but without a doubt it has been largely affected and diminished. I'd also guess that another few more washes with Snow Plus would pretty much remove it, which is not only based on this particular test, but also with my experience with waxes and decontamination wash products. Next is an IPA alcohol-based wipe down using CarPro Eraser, which is perhaps my most used product of all that I use before, during and after correcting a vehicle. Again, I wouldn't consider this as an aggressive cleaner, but rather a cleansing product to remove residue oils and sanitize the finish in preparation for protection. Once again, the coating appears unchanged and still displays the same great water behaviour. The sealant has definitely been more affected with Eraser, further decreasing its hydrophobic behaviour, but still not exactly gone or completely diminished. Whereas the wax has pretty much lost all of its nice water behaviour that it was initially displaying, as it struggles to evacuate the water off the surface. Now, although the wax has lost its ability to sheet and bead water, I can still perhaps see some remaining oils that haven't completely been removed, as it still doesn't feel or react as completely bare paint. I'd consider all-purpose cleaners or degreasers to be more of an intermediate level of cleaners that are generally more capable at removing most paint surface products or grime than a decontamination wash or IPA wipe, but still not quite as aggressive as a few other products I'll get onto next. I'm using Optimum Power Clean APC undiluted as I would for most exterior applications. So for the third time in a row, the coating is yet again showing its power of resistance, and not displaying any signs of being compromised by the APC. Now, where the previous two cleaners seem to have had a more mild effect on the sealant, the APC has really had a much stronger, more devastating effect, as the sealant does now appear to have lost the majority of its water repelling ability. It's also safe to say that the wax is all but gone after the APC, which isn't really all that surprising, and nor should it be, as a traditional wax really isn't meant to withstand such cleaning products. Next up is Tareq, which is a tar and adhesive film remover. This is again a step up on most APC and degreasers with a stronger solvent ability to really break down most paint surface contaminants or paint protection in this case. Over time, I know that continuous use of adhesive removers will begin to break down even the strongest of coatings, but in this circumstance, I can see once again that the Tareq hasn't really affected the C-quartz coating. But as far as the sealant and wax are concerned, it's safe to say at this stage that they are both completely gone, showing no signs of hydrophobic water behaviour and reacting and feeling like true bare paint. Wax and Grease Remover or Prepsol is a product that is really fantastic at removing such things as paint transfer from scuffs, deep embedded grime, and preparing metal surfaces for painting, and is just an all-round great cleaning and preparation solvent used to ensure that the surface is truly free of any foreign materials. And for the most part, it's quite safe and not removing your paint or clear coat in the process. As you can hopefully see, the Wax and Grease Remover is the first product to actually affect the coating and somewhat reduce its nice water behaviour, though it hasn't completely removed it by a long shot. I can also tell you from past experience that I have used Wax and Grease Remover to remove older ceramic coatings from cars that have begun to diminish without too much effort needed. I've also used this to remove fresh coatings off test panels before, but it does take a fair few applications to completely remove a newly applied coating, so I know that if I continue to apply it a few more times, it would eventually come off. Lastly is the most serious and aggressive cleaner that I use anyway, which is paint thinners. Even before trying this on the panel, I know beforehand that it's going to remove the coating without too much effort at all, but I also know that it will be removing a portion of the clear coat as well. Thinners is really a powerful solvent, much more aggressive than a wax and grease remover, and although it can be a fantastic product for certain situations, it is one that you must use with caution. Just like a few of these other cleaners, it will actually affect the surface behaviour of the paint with the solvents it leaves behind. So be sure to follow up with an IPA wipe to neutralise and remove its residue. I'd also advise to work smaller sections in a wipe on and immediately wipe off manner. Overall, I wouldn't advise using thinners to remove a coating or any paint protection product, even though it is by far the quickest and most effective product. Like I said, it can be a fantastic product in some circumstances, but only in the right experienced hands, as in the wrong hands it could do quite a lot of damage to your paint and finish. For me personally, it's a rare situation that I would be removing a car's paint protection without polishing or compounding the paint afterwards. And in many situations, especially when dealing with coatings, it will be that compounding and or polishing step that will remove the remaining protection off the car. I've heard of some coating companies stating that the only way to remove their coating is by sanding it off. Personally, I have corrected many cars with many different existing coatings on them, from consumer level coatings to dealership coatings and professional grade coatings that I apply myself, and I've yet to see one that I couldn't remove with polishing or compounding abrasives. In most circumstances, if a wax and grease remover won't remove the coating, a light single stage polish will work, and will generally be far less aggressive than sanding or using thinners, which is honestly unnecessary in my experience. Overall, you'll find that a thorough decontamination process of pre-foam, rinsing and washing with a good decontamination wash product, followed by iron and tar removal chemicals, claying and an IPA and or wax and grease remover wipe down will either completely or largely remove any existing paint protection. And just a light final polish will certainly clean up any standing protection. So the opposite goes for trying to maintain your paint protection for longer, in that you should avoid these stronger cleaners and combat the need for them by employing regular light cleaning and maintenance. But as with all things, this will be largely based on how thorough and effective your actual working method is, as just going through the motions, rushing and not being as thorough as possible, or stopping to assess your progress, will give you lesser results, as there's just no getting around that quality work takes time. So really, it's not just about what you do and what you use, but more so about how you go about it, which is the reason why so many of us achieve such different results when on paper we're doing the same thing. I really hope you enjoyed and found this video useful. Please like, comment and subscribe to show your support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.